Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this Thursday, January 20th, 2022. Hope you're having a great day. Sorry it's cold out there. I know you had to bundle up, and it was a cold ride. I actually had to work last night here, and I went outside, get in my car, and it's cold when you're inside the car and you still see, you're seeing all that steam coming off when you're breathing, and you see the air, and you're like, oh man, it is so cold. But it was really cool moon last night. I don't know if anybody got to go and look outside for like 3 seconds. It was a beautiful full moon last night. It was really cool to see. So uh, there's that. But as far as today goes, it's just brutally cold. And guess what? It could be worse. So we'll take it, and I'll just leave that aside. We got a great show coming up for you today. We'll get you the latest headlines. We're going to check in with Adam Dorn. We're going to talk about the recent fires that happened on the East Coast. There was 2 major fires taking several lives, 2 different cities. And we're going to talk about that and talk a little bit about fire safety related, because something like that could happen anywhere in the U.S. And, why we talk about these things, we can learn from these different instances. So Dorn's going to be here to talk about that. Plus, we'll check in with the BBB on tax info. Make sure that you're all ready to go as you prep those taxes. Yeah, you turn into a new year, and it's tax time. But let's get a few headlines in for the day. And we start with some... I'm leading with this again. I know I did it in the update, but I have to, because it's so cold out. You need something warm to think about. Concerts at McKee. That's right. We got the dates for you. Get this on your calendar. On a warm June 20th, on a July peaceful warm night of the 18th, and August, a beautiful night, August 15th. 3 great concerts, 1 great location, McKee Farms Park. We hope you join us out there, and the Chamber will be announcing those bands coming up real soon. All right. How about disposing of large items? You ever wondered what you should do? Like, say Andrew's got his old college couch. He wants to get rid of it. Does he put it on the side of the road and just leave it? Or do you call somebody? You call somebody, and you call Politeria here in the city of Fitchburg. Do you need to dispose large items such as mattresses, bed frames, furniture, TVs, or microwaves? You can call Politeria Waste Systems at 608-275-4285 and arrange for a special pickup prior to placing your items at the curb. So don't put it out there, then call, or wait a couple of days, then call. Nobody's going to pick it up unless you call that number. So please follow those guidelines. More information is on the website about disposal of items, and you can't drop those off at the recycling place here in Fitchburg. Not happening. All right, change the mass, let me say that again. Change mass distribution plan for the Boys and Girls Club. They've been distributing masks here, but they do have a change up as far as their mask plan goes, and you can see that on the screen. If you want to find out more information about that, please check in either at the Facebook page. We'll share this page on those dates and times of when you can pick up those masks, or certainly you can call the Boys and Girls Club here in Fitchburg, and you can learn more about their distribution of masks. Testing update. Testing clinic at the Alliant Energy Center will be open now 7 days a week starting the 24th. Yes, says here we are also adding more appointments often, and in many cases, same-day appointments are available. Thanks to the talented team and accelerated clinical labs that we are operating well above our goals for this clinic. To make an appointment, go to publichealthmdc.com/testing, and you can see from the image there, plenty of testing areas. That is a walk-in one, so it's not drive up. It is a walk-in at the Alliant Energy Center. How about some info on COVID-19? A couple of different things to think about from whether you've been exposed to getting the vaccine. And I like this graphic here. So if you test positive, you can learn about what to do, right? publichealthmdc.com/sick. Have you been exposed? Well, same deal. Go to the same website, /exposed. Need some testing? They got your hookup of all testing places you can go to. If you need that vaccination or booster, you can go same place. But it all starts at publichealthmdc.com. And then you just put in whatever you're feeling. Need a test? Been exposed? Vaccinate? I like it. Making it easy there. How about masks? We've heard a lot of different things about masks and what's the best mask you should be using. I've got the information in the breakdown for you. Mask plus vaccines plus booster equals best protection against Omicron. When you wear a mask, you help protect yourself and others from COVID-19. Choose a mask with the best fit, protection, and comfort for you. Learn about more different types of masks and how to protect yourself around those and others by going to the CDC's website. But I thought this graph was a great way to help understand the differences, especially with N95 and K95 and the differences. It's not too much of a difference, but it's still a mask that you can use. So if you see KN95 out there, at least you know that as part of that disposable mask and cloth mask. I've seen and heard using cloth that are disposable masks there, like surgical masks and cloth masks together, can do some wonders there. So if you can't get your hands on a KN95 or N95 mask, you could try doubling up on that. Make sure you try it before you go out there to make sure it fits well and you can breathe okay. All right, that does it for our headlines. Coming up next, I talk with Adam Dorn. We're going to talk about those recent fatal fires on the East Coast and talk about some fire safety that has come about of those two instances. That's next right here on Talking Fitchburg.
It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus, so follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. Use a delivery service for essential items like food and medicine. If you must make essential trips, stay 6 feet apart from other people. Wear a cloth face covering and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Hey, boss. Okay.
I said I'm fine.
Me to bed, see you in the morning with the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it, and we lost it. In my head, in my head, in my head. Where you at? Underlay in my head.
Hey, son.
Hey, Bob.
You know you can talk to me.
Yeah.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. Ready! That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year, no one has time to get sick. Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from the Fitchburg Fire Department, my friend, at least I think it is, Adam Dorn. That was my New Year's resolution. Are we still buddies?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
I was so afraid that we weren't going to get into being buddies this year for 2022, but shoot, you've made my day already.
It's like we're bringing the band back together.
It's a pretty bad band if that's the way it's coming back together, but that's right. We're ready to go, Adam, to turn gears very harsh here. We're going to take a look at some very unfortunate situations. Within the last month on the East Coast, there's been 2 large fatal fires, and it's devastating that this has happened, but it does open up a chance to kind of talk through it. And you brought this idea forward, so I'm excited to talk about it. But fire in New York City and the fire in Philly both had fatalities, different circumstances for each. But if anything, we can find some fire safety out of this and what had happened in these different situations. So we'll start with the recent one in New York City, 17 fatalities so far as of the latest update. It was set higher, but thank God it's come down a little bit. But this one, apparently, as it stands, there'll still be lots of investigating going on here. But closer to home is it potentially was started by a space heater. And we've talked about space heater, fire safety, heat safety already this year. But as you look at this as a whole, first and foremost, Adam, what did you see from this fire that stands out to you, minus the fatality of the surface?
Yeah, like you say, the number of fatalities on the surface is it's overwhelming for any department. I mean, in New York, this is the deadliest fire that they've had since 1990 at the Happy Land Social Club there in the Bronx. but 17 people have passed away in this one fire, and 8 of those being children. I mean, that's a lot for a huge city like New York, but something like that could happen here. It's not that far-fetched with some of the situations that were presented there. You get a large building that does not have fire sprinklers in them. This is a strong possibility of stuff happening. People use space heaters to supplement, for the most part, supplement their heating in their homes. And some people actually use the space heaters as the primary source of heating in their home, which is not the best way to be using a space heater. It should be for supplemental purposes. So that's one thing that's come out of this. And then the other thing that they've kind of found in the last couple of days here is that they're looking at some of the door closure devices that may or may not have been operational when this fire took place. That's really big because that's one of the reasons they're looking at to see if the smoke spread throughout the building because the door did not close properly.
And when the door doesn't close, and we'll talk two fronts on this. First, when you're looking at an apartment building or business complex, a lot of time, or even in schools, you'll see this, that doors just automatically shut. Fire alarm goes off, or smoke detector alarm goes off, shuts those doors and closes it. If the doors aren't closed in these buildings, what's happening that's helping increase the fire and the spread of smoke?
Yeah, not most of the time, it's not that it's going to increase the fire, but what will happen is that the smoke will spread throughout the building much easier and faster. It looks for this path of least resistance. So if your apartment is the one where the fire is at and you don't close that door, the smoke will go from your apartment out into the hallway. And now it affects not just one apartment, but every apartment that's on that hallway. That's why when we go do fire inspections, we want to make sure that the doors at the end of the hallways are closed because those are supposed to be shut. They're designed to be shut so it slows the spread of smoke throughout the building. Sometimes people will prop those doors open because they don't want to open a door when they're doing laundry, going back and forth, or they're moving in and out. That's one thing, but when you are done using that or having it propped open and you're not going to go through that door anymore, those doors need to be shut. They're designed to be shut for a reason. So that's one of the possibilities that could have been in place here, that these doors did not all shut. I don't know for certain. I'm not saying that that's the case, but it's a possibility because we've seen it here in Fitchburg where there's apartment buildings where these doors, when we go do a fire inspection, they're propped open for whatever reasons. We unprop them so that they do close. So we're trying to make it safe for everybody. And then who knows what happens after that.
Yeah, and it's like I said, we don't know all the facts yet for coming in on that fire, so we're still gathering that, but definitely a tragedy. 60 people injured in that one as well, and mostly due to smoke inhalation. And smoke inhalation in general, if somebody doesn't have a SBA, how do you say it? SBA? Is that get it right?
SCBA, self-contained
well, whatever.
apparatus.
I was just gonna say when you have your air pack on, but I thought it'd be cool. But yeah, Andrew hasn't told me enough yet to be cool. That people are breathing in toxins. They're not going to make it if they're not crawling out and staying below the smoke line.
That's right, and that's why we teach get below the smoke or stay close to the ground where the good air is. Even us, we stay close to the ground when we can't see. It's not that we're breathing in the bad stuff because we do have our SCBA on, but for us, it's what can we see? How far can we see? How far can we move? Is there a lot of heat there? All of that stuff plays into a factor for us as to how fast we can move throughout a building and the tasks that we can get completed in a specific amount of time.
All right, changing gears, we're going to take a look at the Philadelphia fire. That one had 13 fatalities in it, including 7 children. This one, still not certain on the circumstances of what started said fire, but it's something that's come out of this in some of the reports is there were smoke alarms in the in the complex, but none of them went off. And can be devastating. This, again, same as just talking about the last scenario, this is something that can happen easily in your home, apartment building, or business.
Yeah. Another tragic fire that hopefully we're going to be learning a lot from. But like you had said, there were at least 4 battery operated 10-year smoke alarms in the building. The problem is that none of them sounded. We don't know why yet, so I'm not going to try and get into the guessing game as to why that's the case, but they did not sound for whatever reasons. The guys in the fire department went in, they did search and rescue and they found multiple victims. What has come out through some of the investigations so far is that this is a single family house that had actually been converted into 2 apartments. So one of the things that we kind of take away from this is to make sure that we are going through all the proper channels when we convert we're converting a house into apartment buildings, or we're just going through a change of use or whatever it might be, right? We want to make sure that we're following all of the proper channels when we make these changes so that we can make sure that all the proper fire suppression, detection elements are in place when a new building or new occupancy takes place, or if there's other things that are needed. So like I said, it's another tragic thing. There's, like I said, 13 people, and I think it's like 7 or 8 kids involved. Again, it's another huge city. And when we look at it from our perspective, like, oh, that couldn't happen here, but it really could. People divide up their houses and make them duplexes quite a bit. We just need to make sure that we're taking all the proper steps to make sure that it is as safe as can be. Because any kind of an event like this, even if it's just one person that's injured, the effect that it has on the staffing that we have and the additional resources that we call in is astronomical. It is, people would be very surprised as to what it really takes to help one person that's injured in a fire, let alone thinking 13 or 20 or whatever number you want to put in there. It's a lot.
Yeah. Said, and it's unfortunate that both these tragedies happen. But as you said, it gives us a chance, an opportunity to look at it, learn from it, and use it for education and training. So I'm glad we had a chance to talk about it. We just scratched the surface. We were kind of discussing that hopefully after some investigation, we'll be able to come back and take a look at these 2 incidences and see what happened and see what's coming out of it. I will note too that reading through both of these stories, the community outpour that both of these communities are seeing is pretty impressive as well. And as you said, 200 firefighters fought in the New York City fire. I didn't read on the other one how many were in the Philadelphia one, but it takes a large amount of people to deal with that, and that not only affected the lives of the people who were lost, the families, but the fire department, public safety. So it's everybody working together to come and keep it safe. And that's why we're bringing it here. We want to pass on and share some safety off of it because, a tragedy like that could happen anywhere, including right here in our own backyard. So Doran, thank you so much for your time and insight on this. We appreciate it. Happy New Year to you. And let's get started with another great year.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Jeremy.
You bet. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be flood next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me from the Better Business Bureau here in Wisconsin, it's Tiffany Schultz. Tiffany, how you doing today?
I'm great. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. And well, everybody doesn't want to necessarily think about this just yet. But 'tis the season, I guess. Can't get any much more of those in. Tax information security. Yes, it's taxes, tax. But, as tax stuff comes up, so do scams, so do different things that can get you in trouble really fast. So we're coming up to this. Where does BBB stand when it comes to tax information security?
Tax season is right around the corner, and you're going to be receiving a lot of information in the mail, possibly emailed to you from your employer. And it's so important to keep those documents secure. They contain a lot of personal information that you don't want to get into the wrong hands. And the first thing that we want you to do before you utilize a tax preparer is to make sure that tax preparer is legitimate. There are con artists who pose as tax preparers that say that they can prepare your taxes. Maybe they don't have the knowledge to do so. Maybe they're out there to gain your personal information. Maybe they're there to take your tax refund from you. So it's super important to check out your tax preparer before you hire them. And you can do that by easily going to bbb.org and search for tax preparation services.
Tiffany, what if the tax company or tax preparer is an online company specifically? What would you say for using or considering using an online service where you're not really even dealing with somebody? You're just putting that information in and you're like, well, I think it's secure.
Really do your research before you even consider using them. There are online services that are completely legitimate, but you have to do a little bit harder research in order to find out their legitimacy. So you're going to want to take an online search, type in the company name, customer reviews, company name, scams, company name, customer complaints, see what you can really dig up about the company. Maybe even try to call the company to verify its legitimacy. It's a lot easier than maybe just driving past a business to make sure that they're open or checking them out on bbb.org. You can still check them out on bbb.org. You may or may not find them on bbb.org, especially if it's an online company. So be very, very careful before you go ahead and hire a company like that.
Yeah, I think that's the life we live in now. It's, don't deal with anybody, just do it yourself. But I think when you're doing it yourself, you want to protect yourself. And that's where we're going to this next spot, is protecting your personal information. What do you have for tips there?
Treat that information like you would treat cash. There's a lot of information on your tax forms. There can be social security numbers, birth date, banking information. You want to keep that secure, keep it locked up in a safe, put it in a safe place before you turn that on over to your tax preparer. And there's information that's going to come all month long, sometimes even in the mid to late February. So make sure it's all in one spot. So when your tax preparer asks for it, you know exactly where it is and you know exactly who had eyes on it.
Absolutely. And another tip here, if you're maybe receive an email from the IRS or maybe a call from the IRS and you're like, oh, I don't know if it's the IRS, or I want to go look something at the IRS, you better make sure you're actually going to the right website.
The IRS is never going to reach out to you unsolicited via phone. Even email, they're not going to reach out to you. If you receive an email or a phone call from them, it's probably fake. So when you go to the IRS website, there's a knockoff of the IRS website. You want to be on irs.gov. That's irs.gov. That is the official website. If you're on irs.com, if you're on some other form of an IRS website where you've been directed from another website, make sure that you're on the right website. And anybody who would email you from the IRS would have a .irs.gov email address, not anything else. No Gmail addresses, no Yahoo addresses, nothing strange. irs.gov.
What if the IRS says they want you to pay in a credit card or a gift card? different interview. I just had to throw it in there. All right. Treat your tax information carefully. Overall, we're looking at a lot of documents that have personalized or personal information on it, the whole work. So no matter what you're doing, you're saying we got to be careful with all of the documents that we're submitting.
Everything should be secure. So many employers are going to email W-2s. A lot of times those will come with a password protected email. So that's the security on that end. However, when you go ahead and print it, make sure that it's in a safe place. If you are going to download it to your computer, make sure it's a secured document, meaning that you want a password in order to get into that document. That should be treated like cash. Just don't download it to your C drive, a removable drive. You want to make sure that's secure because that's going to have your social security number on it. It may have your birth date on it. It has your wages on it. It does not belong in anybody's hands but yours.
Woofda. Well, there it is. We've laid it out for you. But if you have more questions about keeping it safe or any of the stuff we talked about today, Tiffany, where can people learn more?
You can find more information on bbb.org.
All right, Tiffany, thank you so much for your time. Stay warm out there, and we'll look forward to talking to you later this month.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Tiffany Schultz, Better Business Bureau. Like I said, bbb.org for more information. And I suggest you check it out because they got a lot of great information out there. Take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
Como padre, todos los días son un desafío. Y hay que estar ahí presentes. No importa lo cansado que uno esté, hay que estar ahí presentes para ellos. Cuando los niños aprenden algo nuevo, es ese momento mágico y especial. Y creo que presenciar ese momento es mi favorito.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year. And lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region, too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. It's here. It's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show for the day. I want to thank Tiffany Schultz for the Better Business Bureau. I want to make sure you keep your taxes safe as you get them prepared. We'll get that posted. Plus, Adam Dorn and the recap from the two recent fires on the East Coast. We'll get that interview posted up as well and continue to provide fire safety here on TF. Remember, you can find us at all these great locations. And if you haven't tried out that streaming stuff yet, I really encourage you to do so. It's pretty cool. Have a good day.